Hello, and welcome to 12-Minute Meditation, a weekly podcast from Mindful that offers mindfulness meditations backed by neuroscience. Research shows that just 12 minutes of meditation a day can yield benefits like increased attention, focus, creativity, calm, resilience, and compassion. So on this podcast, we invite you to explore 12-minute guided meditations from today's leading mindfulness experts. I'm Siri Myram, editor at Mindful. Daily life is full of irritations, moments of inconvenience, situations where we don't get what we were hoping for, delays, disappointments, prickly interactions that can leave us confused and exasperated. If we're honest, we can probably admit that sometimes our reactions in those moments tend to be reflexive rather than intentional. We feel our anger or annoyance rise, and we react almost as though we're reading a script. Can we explore these habitual reactions in a way that gives us enough space to respond differently? In today's practice, teacher Patricia Rockman guides us through a meditation to help us meet whatever is arising so that we have more agency when the next moment arises. Patricia Rockman is a family physician with a focused practice in mental health. She is the Senior Director of Education and Clinical Services at the Center for Mindfulness Studies in Toronto. She is also a freelance writer, yoga teacher, and meditation practitioner. Ready to practice? Here's Patricia Rockman.
So coming into a comfortable posture, one that is familiar to you that you use when engaging in a practice, whatever your position, allowing the surface that you are lying or sitting on to take on the work of holding you up. Bringing attention to the front body and the back body and everything in between. And now shifting the attention to the sensations of breathing where they are most readily available. On the sensations of the breath as they make themselves known to you. Picking one place and resting the attention here. Attending to the in-breath and the out-breath. Attending to the movement of the body as the air moves in and out. Allowing the body to settle. Allowing the breath to settle. Now you will notice from time to time that the attention will move into thinking, into the future or the past, into planning or anxiety or daydreaming. And the task is simply to notice this habitual tendency of mind and gently return to the breath over and over again. Without judgment, without a story. There is no right or wrong here. There is simply attending to the breath and noting when the attention moves and bringing it back again and again. And now, on an out breath, letting go of this primary focus on the breath, allowing it to be present but in the background, and on an in-breath, establishing attention in the body, the entire body, bringing a kind of open receptivity to experience. To sensations in the body as they come and go. And whatever it is, when a sensation calls out for attention, investigating it, exploring its depth, various qualities, whether there is a leaning into it or a leaning away, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, or even neutral. And remembering that a sensation may be internal or external. Perhaps sounds make themselves known as they come and go. And now, bringing to mind some manageable, stressful situation. Not the 100-pound weight, but rather the 10-pound weight. Perhaps a recent time when you were irritated or somewhat sad or confused or anxious. Perhaps it was a situation in a relationship or at work. Anything at all. Now, bringing to mind this situation, remembering that if what comes up is at all overwhelming, feeling free at any time to return attention back to the sensations, breathing in the body. And if the eyes are closed, opening them. But if you will, you are invited to consider a stressor and noting what arises immediately. A bodily sensation, a thought, or an emotion. Or perhaps there's a behavior or an impulse to act. Starting to get to know your stress reactivity signatures. And if there are thoughts, as best you can, observing them. And if there are emotions, naming them. Perhaps saying, annoyance is here, sadness, anxious feeling. Remembering that labeling emotions helps to settle them, to make them more manageable. Great choice about what happens next. And if there are particular body sensations, we note these and actually turning our attention to them. Really exploring them, even if they are unwanted. Getting to know them. Staying with them for as long as they are holding attention. Noting whether they increase, persist, or fade. Recognizing that this is a moment of stress. And that it's okay. It's already here. As best you can, bringing a kind of compassionate holding to this experience and kindness. Being with it as it is, even though it may be unwanted. Exploring the body. These sensations for as long as they're here. And now, shifting attention back to the sensations of breathing. Perhaps in the belly. And if there are any remaining sensations, holding attention at the same time. engaging in the option should you choose to expand into these on the in-breath, softening, expanding, and releasing on the out-breath, and letting go, or allowing and letting be if this is possible. And if this is not necessary, then simply bringing attention to the belly and the rising and falling of the breath as it comes and goes, as all experience does. And then expanding around the breath to the entire body once again. Any and all sensations, being with the body, breathing in the background, and sensations in the foreground from head to toe. Bringing a kind of spaciousness to experience. Open and receptive. Open front and strong back. And then when you're ready, letting go of this practice, and if possible, bringing this more expanded and spaciousness, this more spacious awareness to your next moments. And now, if you feel inclined, taking a paper and pen and writing down the words thoughts, emotions, body sensations, and impulses to act. And writing down what came up for you in that practice and thinking when you brought up the stressor. Naming the emotions and listing them. What body sensations and what impulses to act or behaviors, if any, went through your mind? And these components of experience may show themselves in a variety of ways, moving from thoughts to emotions, to body sensations, to behaviors, back to emotions and thoughts, and that's okay. Recording these as they show. And then once you're finished, taking a moment to look at what you've written and thinking about where in that habitual reaction you might intervene with mindfulness. How might you bring awareness to these habitual reactions when they arrive to provide more choice if this is needed, or other options about how to respond? How you might stop to be able to take a step back and gain perspective. And then, if you like, perhaps making a commitment to how you might practice with this in some small way when difficulty arises. Perhaps once a week or once a day. Perhaps simply bringing mindful attention to an experience, or bringing the breath to bear when difficulty shows, or shifting an attitude, or engaging in a different behavior. Whatever it is, remembering that Awareness is always a moment away, and mindfulness is portable. It can be with us wherever we are, in any moment, at any time.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of 12-Minute Meditation from Mindful. I hope you enjoyed practicing with us today. Sign up for our free newsletter at mindful.org/signup, and if you'd like to explore additional related content and meditations, check the show notes for links.